Welcome back to Off the Clock, my new podcast. I'm Spencer. This is my podcast now.
Okay. It is now Spencer's podcast, as y'all just heard.
All right, starting on the far right, over here, we got, what's your name?
My name is Ian Peters. I am employed right now by Fellowship Church and then also by Green Brothers Landscaping. Shout out to Charlie and Scott and David and Kieran.
What's your favorite thing about landscaping? All right, who we got beside you? Who's this guy with the hair?
My name's Grant. If you guys don't know me, I work for Spencer and Fellowship, and I'm also massively sunburned right now. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Hey,
how'd you get sunburned?
I went to the lake
Who's
today.
this guy over here to the left?
There you go.
Yeah, I'm Aidan Hodges. I have a few nicknames that are fun. But I'm preaching worship leader here at Fellowship Church also. I had fried eggs for breakfast today, and they're great. What's up, guys? It's Aidan from the future. Just a quick clarification on that. That is pre-teen, not preaching. Sometimes, English is hard, and when we say words quickly, they sound like other words. So yeah, I'm the preteen worship leader here at Fellowship Church, Knoxville.
Heck yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming back on the podcast, guys. It's good to...
You're so welcome. Honestly, it's so good to be here.
What are we talking about?
Oh my God.
So, Spence, just real quick, give us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what got you into like music and the career path that you're on right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're straight into
Just
it.
like
Just go.
I was once getting a tattoo from a man with one arm. His name was One Arm Willie, shout out, North Carolina. And it took him a really long time to do my tattoo, as you could imagine. But he got like halfway through, and I was like, hey, man, what happened to your arm? And he goes, you don't have enough tattoo left for that story. And I'm telling you guys, you don't have enough podcast left for all the things I'm getting ready to tell you.
That's probably true.
Okay.
We'll have to do a Spencer part 2.
Who are you?
Yeah.
What do you do, and why are you here?
Oh, I'm Spencer. I'm a pastor of student worship and technology here at Fellowship.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm here. I'm here because Greg was here, and he validated you guys enough for me to come on the podcast.
Thank you. Shout out at Greg Pinkner.
No, I'm here at Fellowship because, I don't know, I've been like ministry for 10 years. It's a real long story, but one day I got a text message out of the blue. You guys want to hear the whole story about this?
Sure.
Yeah,
Do you
I
have
never
time?
heard this.
We have time.
You haven't heard
think
it?
I've heard it.
I've never
but
heard this.
Go for it.
All right, let's back up. I was born on a warm August night in 1990. No, I started working in church when I was 19, and then when I was like 22, I got a full-time gig assisting the worship director at the time, and that lasted for about a year, and she moved on, and then it was like, who's going to be in charge? And so I was bold enough. Actually, I didn't even ask. They were just like, hey, you're in charge, because I played the guitar and sang the like young people songs. So it was like that. This has got to be the guy. And that went just about like you would expect it to. And six weeks later, they came and they said, hey, guy, maybe no. Maybe you don't do this. But you can stay working here if you want to. So I said, that's fine. And then there's a whole long story about it. I didn't hang in very long after that because it was just like not a good time for me. There's so much more to this story. But I quit ministry for what like I thought was forever, and I went to work at oh my gosh, boys, it's coming. I went to work at a video game company.
Oh, Heather told us about this.
Yo,
one.
wait.
Shout out
She
Trent.
says
I don't know about any of this.
Okay.
she referred to this as the era when you didn't have a real job.
This is what?
That's what she told us.
Okay, by the way, Heather.
A big boy job. Is what
Heather
she
is
called it.
Spencer's wife, and Heather is amazing. Shout out to Heather.
She works here too, unfortunately, because she told you guys. I had three. Okay, so what I did was I went and worked for a video game company. It started out as a database company, and we were going to program databases. So it was like a serious thing. And then we got there, and we were like, "This is terrible." Can I say this sucks on the podcast? I was like,
that's fine.
This sucks. And we were like, "What else could we do for fun?" So we were at lunch one day, and we came up with this idea that now lives on the App Store. You can download it right now. Train Robert Rob, shout out Train Robert Rob. And it's a 2D platformer. It is terrible. It is.
Grant's looking it up
This
right
game
now.
it is so hard to play that like it took like a full year of revamping, and they added in difficulty levels. And if you go onto it now, you have to play a mandatory tutorial. You cannot skip it. So just hang in through the tutorial. You will see. It's a lot, but it like so many people were dying and then getting mad and leaving bad reviews.
It's got 5-star reviews right now.
Well, because
23 of them.
Okay, so what happened was it took like a whole year of revamp after we put it out. It took us like 2 years. Not really. It took us like, I don't know, a year to make it. And then like we put it out and it was so hard that everybody was mad about it. So we did a whole revamp of it. And like right now you get difficulty modes. And if you go in and choose difficulty modes, like hard was the normal difficulty mode before.
Nice.
So we had to make like 2 levels of easier difficulties.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And I guess people played it after that, but yeah, I did the backgrounds and the music and some of the characters and all the train cars. Just the art for them. I didn't actually program anything.
Nice.
So I did that, and I also worked at a graphic design company where we like wrapped cars and stuff like that, and I don't know, some other stuff.
Dang.
Anyway, so did that for a long time. That was a dark time, and then
A dark time.
yeah. Speaking of dark, here's a segue. So in October 2015, Heather's mom passed away, and during that time, this is actually a huge shout out to like my pastors at the church that I was at the time, because they were the first people to call. And I remember I was so hurt by the previous experience that it was like senior pastor calls, the worship pastor calls, the student pastor and the call. Everybody just reached out like immediately when this happened. And I remember thinking even in that moment, like, okay, that's a way better picture of ministry than what I just experienced. And so it wasn't super spiritual after that. I was just like, I think I'm going to go back. So I put out my resume, and this tiny church in South Knoxville called, and they were like, "Why don't you come be our worship pastor?" And that's where I hung out for 5 years until one day. There's a whole thing about this, but I was like, just got this random text from one of like the associate pastors here, and he was like, "Hey man, I think I know the answer, but would you ever want to do anything other than what you're doing right now?" And I was like, "Nope." But it was like a weird time. So I end up like meeting with him and heard about the job. And I was like, honestly, had kind of done the student ministry thing. And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's time to go back to student ministry. I was like having a good time at the church in South Knox. And that was like right before the pandemic. So I literally did my first in-person interview the day that the NBA shut down.
Oh, wow.
And
Dang.
yeah, we were all getting
That's
calls
crazy.
like I walked out of the interview into the parking lot, and senior pastor at the church I was at calls, and he goes, "Hey, the NBA shut down." He's like, "We should probably shut down on Sunday, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess we should." So that was like every interview after that was on the internet, and I met Grant. Wasn't there?
No,
I was not there.
Me and
there.
I was
me,
not
Aidan,
a part
and a
of
few other
Spencer's
people.
life.
Yeah, but you guys were there,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
Ian was not impressed.
Ian,
Ian
oh my
was
gosh,
not impressed.
he was
I
telling me
told
this
Grant
story
this
the other
yesterday.
day. Yeah,
Wait,
go ahead and tell it.
was there like something that made this apparent on the thing?
No, he told me later.
No,
Oh.
yeah, I told him after. I called Blair up after Spencer's interview, and I was like, "Yeah, no, this isn't the guy." I was like, "No, I straight up."
Yeah, he did.
I swallowed those words because I was very wrong.
Dude, I remember having this one specific question that I wanted to ask you, but then I couldn't like figure out how to articulate it. It was about like being able to have your hand in so many different ministries and kind of just like letting the students like student and being a mentor and all this stuff. But I took like 5 minutes explaining this question, and I still don't think I explained it correctly.
Dude, here's what I remember. I remember a lot of things. Well, that was like my, at that time, like 5th interview. So like I had interviewed with the pastoral staff and student staff, and like this was like Blair was like, "Hey, why don't you meet some of our leaders?" And that's where all you guys were on there. And I remember Aidan had like what looked like a 7B and like headphones, and like my man was doing the virtual call right, and I was like, okay, he knows what's up. And then I remember Ian was like literally just staring at the ceiling, like the whole time, just like kicked back in the chair and just like, nah. Like I could tell on your face, it was just like, this is not happening. But that honestly, that one interview or meeting, whatever, there were a bunch of other people on there, and I just remember thinking, man, I have got to go. Like, I love those people. Like, I've got to go do that. So
We're so glad you did.
I was
so glad I was wrong. Oh, God. It was a unfortunate call.
You're
Yeah.
very wrong.
That's why I'm here. It's been 2 years.
That's awesome.
2 years and, oh, gosh.
Dude, this
In
game
a
is
month.
so hard.
Grant is playing Spencer's video game right now.
Yes, I've been playing this game for like 10 minutes. I'm so sorry.
That's ridiculous.
I did not know how to get out of the tutorial for a hot minute, and it did make you do a tutorial.
I told you. 'Cause it's impossible.
I'm sorry. I have been paying attention. I promise.
It also has music and sounds. Here, hit the.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I'm about to die. Crap. Okay, never mind. We're good.
Okay, what you guys doing your podcast this episode?
Hang on.
Did you make this?
Yeah.
You made it.
Yeah.
Straight bangers, dude.
Me and my friend Aaron.
Okay, that's enough.
It sounds like I think exactly how it should sound.
Yeah, no, it sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 8-bit Western. We did all the
Although this game
Foley work
isn't 8-bit.
No, it's not. It's supposed to look. Yeah,
it is hysterical.
Oh,
I'm going to download this after this podcast.
Did I die?
That's the whole thing.
So Spencer, I know you're a huge Stranger Things fan.
Oh, can we do this?
We're gonna. Yes,
we're hopping straight in.
Let's go.
I'm going to
Season
stop
4.
playing the game.
Okay.
Quick disclaimer: I will not be participating in this discussion a lot, because as you guys
Aidan
know,
does not watch
I haven't watched the
Stranger
show.
Things.
But go ahead.
What? Yeah. Look.
Go for it.
Are we gonna do
Just-
spoilers?
Oh yeah, I don't care.
Okay,
Hey,
We can
spoilers.
This is a
People.
spoiler warning. If you're on YouTube, just skip to the next part. By the way,
it'll be-
go subscribe to
Yeah.
your YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So now spoiler time.
All right. I'm ready.
What is your just thoughts on the season?
It was so. Here are my overall thoughts on the season. Like, Stranger Things means a lot to me because in 2016, like, the show comes out and it was just the nostalgia of that like whole thing happening was so unifying for like the internet, and it was just like 2016 was weird, and it was just like, wow, this show is great, and so that momentum carried into season 2, which was fine. Rip to Bob, and then into season 3, which was like, all right, this is definitely losing steam. But season 4 immediately comes out swinging, and you're like, this, maybe it's back. And then what you learn over the course of 9 episodes is, wow, like this is so unnecessarily dark. Like that was
It is so dark.
that was my number one takeaway from this season. Well, no. The takeaway is this: the story was so good that it helped me hang in through how dark it was, because like.
Oh, that's really good.
That's
point.
like, and I think if I could say anything about Stranger Things, it's like the story is so good. Like it is so like dumb. It's so dumb. Like Eddie doing a metal concert on top of the RV.
Yes.
best scene in the whole
Easily
season.
the greatest scene. In the whole series.
Yeah, arguably.
It's up there. We'll go with that.
Name a better one. Name a better one right now.
Steve Harrington with the baseball bat.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah. Well, just
Also, rip to the baseball fan.
I know.
It hasn't been in this season
it better
at
make
all.
an appearance in season 5 because it wasn't in 3 or 4.
yeah. Anyway.
Duffer Brothers, if you're listening.
Hey, Duffer Brothers.
We have on the pod.
We have some thoughts.
Yeah.
We want the bat back.
We want Steve Harrington's bat back.
Definitely not. You've definitely
Or I
not
want
heard
it.
of this
Can you
before.
give it to me? Like, I will keep it safe.
Grant wants the bat.
Stunt double. Grant is going for stunt double season 5. I did
You
hear.
did say in one episode, you were like, if any like agencies, what did you say? You were like,
Gosh, what did I say?
you were like, somebody said something about you getting an acting gig, and it
So
was
yeah,
like,
if anybody from an acting agency is
It was
listening to the
about
pod.
Tippy's movie, wasn't it?
Oh no, that was a
literally-
different thing.
or was it like Broadway? Either way, you put out a seed in one
did.
of the previous episodes that you're like, hit me
R.I.P.
up.
to your Mike Grant.
Anyway,
So anyway, Duffer Brothers, if you're listening.
or Sean Livy, or like literally anybody.
I did hear that. I didn't hear. I read this on the internet, which is where Stranger Things lives. But that they're not writing right now, so they took July off.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
writing in
sick.
August. I saw that.
Which is like, so that brings up the next like logical thing, which is like, are they going to do a time skip? Because have you guys seen them? They look like they're 30 years
But
old.
here's the
You know
thing.
why?
Here-
Because
here's the
they
thing.
are 30 years old.
No,
Yeah.
they're not. They're like in their early 20s, which Outer Banks is so much worse about that. Literally,
Oh, yeah.
look up Chase Stokes' age right now and tell me that Stranger Things kids look old, because they don't. They do.
gonna lie,
They
Outer
do.
Banks.
Not just the
but-
kids. Not just the kids.
No, I know. I do think that like the thing about Stranger Things, like the kids being old, is one, they still look like they're in high school. Because
How do you do a time skip though with where it left off? And
Here's the thing:
They
they can't jump out of the 80s for me. They just can't. They can go to 1989 and that's it.
You can't do a
I'll
time
end
Where are
skip.
we
it.
at
though.
right now?
Everything is falling
86?
apart.
Like,
What?
Are we in 86 right
Yeah,
now?
we're in 86. They can skip to 89 and I'll live. But if they skip to the 1990s,
No, I'm saying like
out.
story wise, where they left off. How do you do a time
Well,
skip?
so you have like a lot of potential here. You could do like, even if it's a 2-year time skip while Vecna like recuperates, then you could spend a lot of the season going back and like telling the stories of what happened up until that moment, right?
Sure,
Like,
that's
you don't lose your storytelling.
Sure.
Like-
no, and I
Yeah.
trust the Duffer Brothers too. Like I
I
think they'll
think
figure
I
it.
do too. Except Except,
See, guys?
okay, why? I know this was explained. I just missed it. Why were the deaths so violent? Like,
because he has mind powers and squishes people with his mind.
okay, no, but
No,
that's
they were excessively violent.
excessively violent.
Because I feel like it's kind of what happened with Harry Potter. Like season 1, like the kids are like
Season 1.
Season
What now?
well, listen. Season 1 of Stranger Things, the kids are little.
Okay.
First book of Harry Potter, the kids are little, right? As they grow up, the book series grows up with it. Now, do I fully agree with that? But like, if Harry Potter book 7 was like just as little kid as like Sorcerer's Stone, then like, you know, what are you on about? But
What are you on about?
Now, I think Stranger Things has been like pretty dark from the beginning too. Like it's
It has been,
but like season
it's
2
almost
and
trying
3
to
weren't
like
as bad.
It's almost trying to like out dark itself in some ways.
I don't. Here's the thing that was like the things to me that were like the most deeply unsettling were the bongs of the clock. Like every time that happened,
dude. Oh
every
my
time that
gosh.
happened, I was like almost sick of my stomach because I was like, this is easily. I don't know who's doing like the Foley work on that, like who's making that sound.
Insane.
But they're,
Yeah, it's
you know what I
creepy.
do know? That person didn't sleep for like weeks because they probably spooked themselves out with that sound.
Oh yeah. 100%.
They heard that in their sleep. Second thing is like, I think they tried to explain it. I just missed it somehow. Like, why the eyes?
He's squishing them with his mind.
No, I think they were like trying to. Yeah, maybe.
There was an explanation for that.
That's what I thought, but I missed it.
I don't know.
what it was.
I just don't.
Have
know
you
what it
heard
was.
this song?
I don't know.
Is it Kate Bush?
Hey, if you're hearing this, we cut this music out of the podcast because there was a possible chance that we were being illegal because it's not our music.
Are we
So
allowed
there
to
you
play this on the podcast?
I think
we
you
gonna
got like
get
10 seconds.
I don't know.
You
Yeah.
probably could.
That will be cut.
What was that?
That was.
That's auto-tuning the heck out of Eddie's voice.
I was gonna say it's just like definitely
Oh, I love autotune so much.
auto tune this. Auto tune
Okay.
this.
That will be heavily auto-tuned.
Man, can you do it one more time, but like a little farther away?
It's a clean take.
He's still
Dude,
clipping.
is that like? It sounds kind of like the intro for Time. Quick promo. The songs are done. So
Coming out
Oh,
early
no.
August, baby.
Let's go.
Y'all be on
Let's
the
put a
lookout for
date
that.
on it right now. Just
that
give it a
means
day.
we
our
need to do
deadline
it.
is August 7th.
August 7th.
For what?
When it's going to
when
be
it's
out.
coming out.
Who made the deadline?
It's because it's when Tempe gets back to Knoxville.
Yeah,
so we were
so
like,
we just
Tempe,
decide
when
we're
you get
gonna-
back here, it will be on all platforms. So that was the thing we said.
Yeah, August 7th.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Tempe,
Time's
we miss
coming
you.
out.
All right, back to Stranger Things.
Yes,
So,
please.
I have a question.
yeah.
Season 2 and 3, you said they like started slowly, you know,
I mean,
losing
like-
its steam. I personally really enjoyed season 3, and I think season 2 gets unfair hate. Like
I
I enjoyed
love
it as
No,
well.
Season
I didn't think they
two
were
so
bad.
much.
They weren't bad. It's just like, and I wonder too about this. Like, how I know Vecna's from the beginning was the monster.
Right.
I wonder like how much of that was planned and how much of that was like.
I think like the idea of one being like the big bad was probably in there,
Yeah.
like from the beginning.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was like so like tightly woven. That,
Right.
Like
So if you guys are you haven't. I know you haven't. You haven't played Dungeons and Dragons. You've played a version of
No.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I have actually played.
Can we talk about your version of Dungeons?
Oh,
What's
shout
my-
out
what's my
Brady
version?
Hodges.
Oh my gosh.
wasn't
Brady.
What?
there like a Christian version of Dungeons and Dragons you guys played?
Oh my gosh,
What?
this is so
That is a
random.
thing?
How do you know about that? No,
I-
it wasn't me. It was my brother Luke, and Luke had like. Oh, you actually probably know about it from my dad.
No, I know about it from 6th grade boot camp 2 years ago when I talked to Luke about it.
It's so funny. So my brother Luke like loves Stranger Things, and he got like a Christian version of Dungeons and Dragons. And that's the whole story.
Is it like
Incredible.
Heavens
That's
and
it.
Angels? Or?
I know. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's something like that.
Heavens and
I don't know.
Angels.
It was like I don't know. It was whack, but
It was whack. Wait, so have you played regular Dungeons and Dragons?
I have once or twice.
What, Grant?
Dude,
But
my brother loves it.
I don't like play it. I
Grant,
don't.
you're going to hell.
No, I'm not.
Whoa!
I'm kidding.
If that's true,
Dude, no, my dad used to play
oh, dude,
Dungeons
I
and
played
Dragons
Dungeons
back
and
in the day.
Dragons all the time. And during COVID, we had a virtual, like a
Dude, that actually sounds
online
super
one to
Of
like
course
keep
you did.
ourselves like entertained.
that's
it was
amazing.
so good. I wrote it. It was called Trouble and Corral. Shout out Trouble and Corral.
fun. Let's go.
So
Oh my gosh.
anyway, if you ever play Dungeons and Dragons, you could see like clearly the Duffer Brothers love Dungeons and Dragons,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like the show
For
loves
sure.
Dungeons and Dragons, and it's shout out to Dungeons and Dragons the whole time.
Yep.
And if you think about it, they even like move. They're like a party. They move together, and their like characters are growing and like leveling up, and like Steve gets the bat, and then he eventually trades the bat for the axe. Like this is all very Dungeons and Dragons, right? and like 11 is like leveling up the whole time, fighting more and more powerful monsters. But if you look at the progression of like villains that they fought, it was the Demogorgon, who somehow had mind powers.
There's a theory that's actually Vecna in the first episode. There's a theory. Anyway, like, let's keep rolling.
I'd love to
wait in the first episode of the show.
In the first episode where Will gets vanished, there's a theory that's Vecna.
I thought that was
because
Vecna.
like all the other Demogorgons coming out like in Russia in this season were like just dumb Demogorgons, right? Like they weren't.
I don't know.
Under the impression that was Vecna.
Well, I don't know.
Anyway, this in season 1, that's the first boss. Right. Season 2, you have the Mind Flayer. Season 3, you have the Mind Flayer again, and I was just like,
but it's like squishy Mind Flayer.
Right. It's like, yeah. But anyway, so you're like leveling up, and then in Dungeons, technically that would be like, I'm sure the Duffer Brothers think of that as like the dragon, right? Like the Mind Flayer is the dragon. So like in Dungeons and Dragons, the only place to go from dragon fights is like fighting another wizard, which is what they were doing.
Right.
And they tried to like, the red herring was when Dustin at the beginning of the season was like, this is his 5-star general. Like the Duffer Brothers knew the whole time. No, this dude's way more powerful than the Mind Flayer.
Right. Yeah. Right. They were just trying to throw people off.
Right. So like, that's like the progression of the seasons, right? So I think it was really interesting to introduce the Mind Flayer, but then like when they came back to it, it was just like, all right, I'm ready for something else. So when Vecna showed up, I was actually really pleased. And Grant and I've talked about this, but like he looked awesome,
dude. He looked
crazy,
so good.
and it was all like
a lot of it was practical. They add a little CG touch up.
No, yeah, okay. So I was gonna say, like when doing close ups in the last 2 episodes, you could see them like writhing the things on his.
I mean, that's what they did. Like think of Pirates of the Caribbean 2. Like they have like. I don't know. It's the same thing.
So
it
nice.
looks so good though. Yeah.
It was so nice.
Shout out to the VFX crew of Stranger Things. I guess.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay, so I've got another question. Transitioning, another hard transition.
All right.
Gotta love it. Grant was talking about recycling a second ago.
So here's like the question.
Yeah.
Spencer is of the opinion that recycling does not matter.
Oh, hang on. Whoa.
Maybe I said it a bit more strongly, but I mean, okay, here's the question. Does recycling matter? I'm of the opinion that yes, it does matter.
It so does not.
Ian is Ian.
Go ahead.
Okay, hang on. Can I at least
go ahead and defend yourself?
Defend my position here?
Yes.
Okay. It's really reductionist to say that it doesn't matter. That's not necessarily how I feel. What I'm saying is like, is there a limited number of resources on our planet? Obviously.
Yeah.
Should we reuse them as much as possible?
Yes.
Obviously. My argument is, do the systems that we have in place actually work to reuse them? No.
Okay.
No, those dudes are taking your recycling, putting it in the same place that your trash is going.
But the thought of recycling
it just runs twice a week. You can Google it.
The thought of recycling is a good thought because what it's supposed to do is awesome. What it actually does is not that. Therefore,
listen, I agree that the systems are not as like good as like we want them to be.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they're completely ineffective.
No, okay, so
like some stuff is recycled, surely.
Oh, some of it is, but it's like such a minuscule percentage that it might as well just be 2 garbage trucks, and then like every other citizen is just being like a good citizen, taking their stuff to the recycling center. Like I think if you did take it yourself and you were like, here's my recycle stuff, that would probably be way more effective. But like when you're putting it out in a can on your road and the city of Knoxville's coming around taking it, they're not sorting through that stuff. There is no way. It goes in the same truck. There is no way.
So you did say it though, like the idea of recycling is almost a good moral to teach our kids. Like
we should definitely. I'm pro recycle.
Okay, good.
I am. How could you not?
No, waste
everything. I'm just kidding.
Recycling's great.
How could you not be pro recycle? Like,
yeah,
definitely recycle. And there are plenty of things that we could use many times. Like, but are we using them? That's my thing. Dude. It's like no.
I will say I feel like so at my house we don't do like the whole like trash pickup thing. We take our trash to the dump because it's like a few minutes away from the house, and I see anti-recyclers there all the time because there are these huge freaking signs on top of the garbage things where you put your trash in that say no cardboard in this container. And right next to those things, there's a cardboard like recycling thing with all the cardboard things. And these people will take like a mattress box and just throw it in the trash.
Oh my gosh!
I'm just like, what are you guys doing?
And that's like the fundamental breakdown of recycling. So Okay, I need to say this just one more time.
Okay, say it.
Recycling is good. ... No, Recycling is good. You should recycle.
Yeah.
Paragraph. The systems that we have in place
Indent.
for like mass recycling in our cities are so broken that there's no chance that we're actually getting like a good amount of return on our recycling investment. There's just no chance.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. That's amazing. Okay, so while we're
If
doing
any
this
city employees are
podcast,
listening to this, would you come on and defend the recycling position? Grant needs somebody in this corner.
I do. It's just me.
okay, so as we kind of prepare to wrap it up, we got sent a question
Prepare to wrap it up
by Hunter Tisdale.
So
Shout out Hunter
Oh, yes.
for
We
a
love
question to
Hunter.
ask you, and he says the following: what's it like having kids in your house?
Oh no!
Here we go.
All right.
We have time.
You got like 5
we have
minutes.
time. We have time.
All right, buckle up, boys. Let me tell you what my day's like. We're not going to do Wednesday because when I get home on Wednesday, everybody's asleep. But let's start Thursday, 5:30 p.m. I leave the church. It takes me 30 minutes to drive home. I open the door. I'm immediately met with 3 screaming children, one of which doesn't even know I'm a person because he's a baby. He doesn't even know what his feet are. Sometimes he sees them and he smiles, and because he didn't know they were there before. So the other 2 are just wild. One of them is a 5-year-old almost, and she is her own thing. And the other one is Rosemary, and Rosemary is the like the wrench in our household. Like whatever is the most difficult possible thing to do, that is what Rosie is doing all the time, 24/7, never stopping.
Love
So
her.
they run in. This is 5:30. They're like, "Hey, you're home. So glad you're home. You know what time it is? Dinner time." So they go to the table. One of them wants to sit in one chair. The other one wanted to sit in that chair. They didn't know until the first one sat down in the chair. And now it's time to put down the food on the table. This is a crapshoot. What's going to be for dinner? If it's spaghetti, then you put down one plate of spaghetti that's just noodles and cheese, because that's what Eloise wants. And then you put down another plate of spaghetti that has spaghetti on it, which is what Rosie calls spaghetti sauce. And then she looks at Eloise's plate and she's like, "Nope, I want that." And then we scream about it until we make a second plate of spaghetti. And Rosie wants water. Eloise wants milk. Sometimes we're out of milk, so then we scream about that and we want water. I love them to death. This is just literally what happens. So but at this point, it's almost like 6 o'clock. We finally sit down, inhale the spaghetti as fast as possible. The baby is screaming. If he's not like at 6 o'clock, 6 to 6:30, he is winding down for bed. And if you are not holding him or like paying very close attention, he's just gone. Meanwhile, the other 2 are like, at this point, they're done. They've eaten 3 bites of spaghetti. They have now like raided the fridge for everything sweet they could possibly find. Is it donuts? Is it cookies? Who knows? So they're yelling. At this point, it's almost 6:30. It's time to start putting on PJs. Nope, don't want PJs. So now we're crying again. Now all three children are crying at the same time. You finally get one of them calmed down. You get the PJs on, and guess what? After the PJs are on, God forbid it's bath night. I'm sorry if you've seen my kids. Sometimes they're gross because this is the hardest thing to do. This is the hardest thing to do as an adult is bathe your children. It is wildly difficult to get them into the bathroom and into the bathtub. And then once they finally do get there, I'm not kidding. Sometimes I'll walk in and one of them's gone because Rosie is floating on her back like 11 from Stranger Things and will not get up. She is just like, you talk to her, she's like, what? And you talk to her, she's like, what? I can't hear you. Oh, I know, because your ears are underwater. So she's yelling the whole time. You finally get them out of the bathtub. You get them dried off. You get them in their PJs if it's a bath night. And it's time to brush teeth. And we've talked about this before. Eloise has now graduated. She's almost 5 to toothpaste that you spit out. It seems like a huge deal, and it is. Sometimes. Other times she wants the toothpaste that you get to swallow because it tastes like bubble gum. I don't know. So then they yell, which toothbrush are we using tonight? Who's using the Bell toothbrush? I don't even know whose Bell toothbrush it is. I just use them interchangeably and just hope it works out. So at this point, on a bath night, it's 7:30. At 7:30, we were supposed to have been in bed for 30 minutes. So we start corralling them up the stairs. And like one of them doesn't want to go up the stairs. So you drag them both up the stairs. They're in 2 separate rooms because they cannot be in the same room. We tried that for 6 weeks and I don't know if we'll ever recover. So we put Rosie in one room and Eloise in the other room. I forgot to mention there's a baby involved in this. So one of us is actually rocking him and putting him to sleep which, like, again, he's been yelling for like 45 minutes at this point. So we finally get him down, and the one that gets him down, I'm not kidding, Heather, if you're listening to this, I know you just sit in that room. I know you just sit in there longer than you need to and rock him while I try to put the kids down. I know you do this. Calling you out on the podcast. So anyway, finally, Heather comes as backup to the rescue. As backup? Because I've got both kids in the room, but again, they're both yelling, and Rosie wants a cheese stick, and sometimes so does Eloise. And they've already brushed their teeth, but for some reason we've decided that cheese sticks are okay after you brush your teeth. I don't know. It's like the one food in our house you're allowed to eat after you brush your teeth. So we finally get them in bed. It's time to sit down. And you know what? Now we all want stories. So we have to read 2 to 3 stories. And by the way, there's parenting pro tip. Take out every chapter book in your kid's room. Only have the ones with 1 word and 1 picture per page. Just leave. That's the only ones they have to choose from.
That's an amazing tip.
They'll never know different if that's the only ones you leave in there. So then you get to read 3 books in about 5 minutes. And then Rosie's finally content to go down to bed. But Eloise, being a little older, wants to tell you her day. So we start talking about her day. And it doesn't matter what has happened. I'm like, Eloise, tell me about your day. And she's like, it's good. And I'm like, awesome. I'm going to bed. And she's like, no. I woke up. And it's like, here we go. We're doing the whole day. We take 14 sidebars to go get cheese sticks or to like get some water or whatever it is. We finally get them down. I forgot to mention, I'm living with my parents right now because we're selling our house. So at this point, it is 9 p.m. Heather and I have done at least a 2-hour bedtime routine. We go downstairs. This is, mind you, I left church at 5 and have not like stopped since we got home. I sit down on the couch and I'm like, time to relax. And I look up. And they're my parents. And they're like, how was your day? And I'm like, I'm going to bed. So I try to go to, here's the thing though. Here's the tricky part that we didn't get into last time, and I have to go in 1 minute. You try to go to bed, but every time I walk in the room, the baby's asleep. So I stumble through the room into the dark. Inevitably, there's a creaky board. Heather is screaming at me like silently. I don't know if you ever had a silent scream, but it is terrifying. So she's like, it's like you walk in, you stumble in the dark, you lay down, and you close your eyes, and you just pray to God that when you wake up, all of this will be over, and it never is. And then we wake up and every night Heather leaves at 2:30 a.m. and she says, "You're in charge," and I say, "Yes, ma'am." And then from 2:30 to 6:30, I feed the baby or give him his passy or whatever. And at 6:30, she comes and gets him, and I wake up for like 10 minutes, and then from upstairs, I hear a child say, "Dad!" And we start over, boys. We take it from the top.
Spencer, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
So
we know you have a meeting to get to, but this episode's long overdue.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be here. Let's come back again because there's more stories.
Hopefully there's a part 2 very soon, very shortly.
Shout out to you guys. And off the clock, my new podcast. Thank you
Soon
for
to be
joining us.
#1 podcast in the world. See y'all.
Bye.
Guys, thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. If you want to watch our last video or keep up with our latest podcast, click right up here. And if you want to subscribe to Off the Clock YouTube, click right down there. Hit the bell if you want to get any notifications, and we'll see you guys next time.